When you outgrow something that once felt right, it comes down to your own personal involvement. Making this video today, it's when you outgrow something that once upon a time felt right. I wanted to make this as part of the extension of the previous video, which was Hope Without Illusion. And I felt this video made sense. So we're going to discuss the areas of how we evolve and also where we're at today compared to where we were before, whether it be personally, professionally, on something that you just feel doesn't fit the mold on who you are today. And it's nothing wrong with that, it just means you simply evolved. So this is where I wanted to make this video and throw a few value points out there, and if you can align and agree with that, hey, great. But I just share some of my wisdom and where I'm at today with this area, and yeah, hopefully get some value out of this. So we'll bounce into this one and see how we go. For me personally, look, it wasn't something was completely wrong. I think I just realized that something didn't feel right no longer, or didn't fit where I was at that time. And you just become, I feel, as I said before, more evolved and higher awareness, not just for yourself, but for others. And that's what really matters, you know, is speaking your authentic truth of where you are today. Because at first you may question it, right? You may think to yourself, geez, did I give up too soon? Or maybe I'm just a bit tired of where I'm heading. And it may be just a phase, you know, maybe just a phase you're in right now. I've definitely questioned all of these myself. But I think through trial and error, I definitely can feel something that feel right. I keep justifying it. I go back into my mind and I try to make it feel good, even though it's I'm avoiding something. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it at the time, but I no longer connect to it in a way which I used to be. And I think that's something that's saying, hey, you're progressing, and you know, we're evolving. And I think it just slowly catches up with you and lets you know, hey, I'm here. But it's not something you force. I think it's just awareness. You're just aware of what's going on, and that's just really, as I said, you've outgrown whatever it is that you're in, personally or professionally. Your standards have shifted. It means that version of you that you accepted certain things once upon a time no longer serve you. And there's no wrong or right with that. It's just truth. It's not arrogance. I look at it as in it's just being clear with who you are, where you are today. And we often confuse that with quitting or giving up, you know, same thing. But there's a difference between walking away because it's very difficult or challenging, compared to what's no longer aligned with you. And the truth is, if you stay in something long enough, either outgrown it or it eventually starts draining your spirit, and instead of expanding it on it, you know, it's not giving you the value anymore that where you are today. And I didn't come up with this mentality overnight. I think it's just evolving and going through the hurdles like we all do, you know, all the ups and downs in life. And when you spend a long time in something, whether it's a job, a relationship, even a marriage, you naturally build an emotional connection around it, and you develop patterns, predictability, and there's that sense of certainty. I know myself, and I've been there, and that comfort creates stability, and it's a good feeling. Even if it no longer feels the same, you do tend to ask yourself, I know I did, is should I stay here because it's comfy, but it's not serving me as much as it used to. Do I need to maybe, all right, I don't want to go extremes here, shall I switch things up, change the dynamics a little bit, maybe give it some life, a bit more fire? Maybe I just need to be more grateful for what I have. And that's gratitude, of course, but at the same time, and that's all valid. Don't get me wrong, it's all valid. You just don't want to walk away from something that feels off. You just reflect, give it some thought, because sometimes things just need to be adjusted, not abandoned. And that's it. Maybe it's just bringing in, like I said, gratitude again. But if the alignment simply isn't there anymore, you're just revealing yourself, like your real truth of where you are. And whether it's someone who operates more, here's something else I want to be clear on, is someone can operate more logically, or someone who feels more through their heart. You know what I mean? And we're all built differently. We all process things differently. Not one size fits all here, but we all move at our own pace. And that's the key of discovering what feels right for you at that time, in that moment. And then that's for me. I live through the heart, compassion, and I look at it through that lens, but I also use logic for my reasoning, from experience and wisdom. But is that wisdom back then valid today? Does it align today? And so no one else can decide that for you. I mean, you can take all the advice in the world, and you can listen to your best friend, best mate, your trusted confidant, whoever that may be. But the most important is it's a guide. It can help inspire you, maybe just make things a little bit clearer for you. But at the end of the day, you're going to make the decision and the choice on where you are today and how you feel today. And this is where I go back to that predictability and comfort. When you're in that space, that awareness of no clutter, no noise going on mentally, that sometimes can create discomfort, because you're shifting into potentially another routine, whatever that may be, personally and professionally. And I think that is where it's like, hey, it feels discomfort, but remember, that comes with looking at the discomfort with familiarity, where, hey, if I go back to how I was feeling before, the position I was in before, or the situation, whatever that may be, you're going to be staying in that same mold. But is it going to tap you on the shoulder later, or shall I just let it sit for now and see how we go? Hey, who knows? But at the end of the day, I look at it where discomfort is often the place for your next evolution, and it's where familiarity ends and the next chapter begins. And I think that's something that's like a real test on life itself for you. It did for me, because I got comfortable in areas, comfortable in myself, comfortable in relationship, and I thought, okay, what did I learn from this when it was all ended? And that was whether it was like, okay, is this a means of letting go, moving on, or beginning something new? What did I learn from all this? But the important thing to remember is that life will test that decision. Whatever decision that you make, it's going to test you on that. Hey, it could be a lesson or a blessing. We don't know, because things don't always go as imagined, as planned. And you might find yourself questioning everything again. You may be in that space, and it's like, geez, did I make the right move? Right? How many of us have said that? Should I have stayed? Especially when it's a job, or even a partner, right? Was I too quick to leave? That's the real test. Yeah, that's the real test. Speaking from experience, but not the decision itself, but what happened after. Because when your mind and emotions start pulling you in different directions, your heart says one thing, and then your mind says another thing, and you're in this sort of internal tug of war. And if you feed it too long, either mind or emotion, you're in a loop now. You're in a bit of a cycle going on, overthinking, replaying the story or analyzing every angle. Oh man, I've done that, and that loop can hold you there for days, weeks, or even months. It's got you, and I think the big thing there, when you look back, you think, I wish I'd have done it sooner. And that's the thing, because it's holding you from moving forward. So when that happens, you got to step back and you got to remind yourself, all right, hang on a minute. If I made the decision, all right, you got to take ownership. You got to acknowledge that, hey, all right, I made the decision. Was it going through clarity or was it through impulse? And awareness or reaction, that you're reacting to something. But if it came from awareness, which is a good place, that is from your inner truth. That's what's, if it's from you're centered. All right, let me think about this tomorrow. I'll let me sleep on it. All right, very typical terms. Not from frustration or trying to get a result straight away. Even if things don't go as you pictured, it doesn't mean it was the wrong move. It's something I had to learn about myself as well, because maybe it was just life throwing something at you for a different route. Maybe the outcome isn't like, oh God, I failed here. How am I going to get through this? I feel it's another test. It's feedback, a way of life saying to you, hey, you're close, but you're not quite there yet. You need a bit more fine tuning. You need to go through a few more hoops yet. And I think that's what's definitely evolved me personally to be better. We're always a student of the game, right? And you just keep getting better, one step at a time. And I feel that's how life just keeps refining us, keeps us grounded and humble, through trial, adjustment, realign, okay? Get yourself back up. Even if it didn't go as planned, get yourself back up, back on the track. You might not get it right the first time. If you do, that's a blessing, but that doesn't always happen. So I think what matters is that you're moving forward with awareness, keep yourself centered, make sure it's your own voice. That's what's most important. As I said before, you can listen to these podcasts, these videos, YouTube, people, it doesn't matter. What it comes down to is you, because the most important person is you. And hey, it's that's what you've got to take care of, because temporarily you can feel uncertain, can make you question your voice, your truth. But at the same time, you got to stay patient. Of course, easier said than done when you're in it. But if you stay balanced, then your regret doesn't grow from what you did. That's really important. It grows from not understanding why you did it. And that's sort of hard to get your head around when your emotions are a bit elevated and maybe you're regretting the move you made or whatever you did moving forward. That's the reflection. Basically turns experience into wisdom, all right? Because the lack of a reflection, hang on a minute, let me get this right. The lack of reflection turns experience into regret. Yeah, I learned this from a friend a long time ago. And so you can still, this is where I extended this video of hope and illusion, hope and reality. You can still hope for things to improve, right? That's natural. You can still wish people well, of course, hope for a great outcome in your career, project, goal, or relationship, finds peace and balance and harmony again, or marriage. But there comes a point where your hope for change can't replace the truth in front of you. And what I mean by that is it doesn't make you cold. It just makes you honest. And that's all people want. They don't want the gray areas. They don't want the BS. People just want it straight. And if you're showing up just with that transparency, you're not losing hope. You're just no longer depending on it to make reality feel better. I feel for me personally, that is where maturity comes in. Learning to tell the difference between faith and attachment. Because faith will keep you moving, whereas attachment will keep you waiting. You're hanging on. So that's why that whole non-attachment and is, hey, everything's impermanent in life, and it took me a while to get to that place because if you live through the heart and the heart knows and the hangs on, right? But you got to have the faith, keep moving forward. And sometimes caring about someone or something means accepting that it's chapter in your life has served its purpose. It's done its thing. And it seems very bland and okay, yeah, but when you're in it, it's very hard to sort of accept and listen to these words when you're in it. That's just the truth. But once you start day by day, one day at a time, and then you look at it in that manner, you're in a better space. I feel there's that sort of acceptance is not there, but it's coming. You're a lot closer to mitigating that period of non-acceptance. You're mitigating it from growing arms and legs. It's you're getting through things quicker, with acceptance, because you're not holding on with attachment. And I think that's the hard truth about outgrowing something that sometimes comes with a bit of guilt, especially if you've invested time, love, or loyalty into it. Guilt doesn't mean you're wrong here, or God, or you've done something wrong. It just means you care. Because if you feel guilty about something, oh geez, should I have left? I feel bad now. Really typical question. I mean, not questions, typical words we say. And caring means you're alive. You've got a heart. You got a heart here. So you're still capable of seeing yourself with honesty, which is a good thing. And you can honor what was without needing to carry it forward, so it doesn't, weigh on you. And you can appreciate who you were in that period without forcing yourself to stay the same, because you evolved. You're still the true core of you. And but I look at myself 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and when I get to 60, not there yet, but I'm going to see I'm definitely changed, but I'm still the core Craig. And you can appreciate who you are, because you can see it for what it is, for real. Because the truth is, not everything you love is meant to come with you into your next chapter, right? I mean, that's pretty clear. So letting go, you're letting go with your own power. You're not losing yourself in it. It isn't about cutting things off entirely emotionally. I say this, it's about accepting what they've already become. Wherever people, whatever you've been involved in. Because you stop trying to make something fit, and you stop fighting with reality, because I feel that's when the man upstairs is saying, hey, I'm trying to nudge you on the shoulder here, is to make some changes, whatever that may be, and for your own self-evolvement. And that's when you have some peace coming back, not overnight, but you gradually you stop resisting what's already true. Yeah. So you start seeing that endings aren't punishment, they're redirection. You make, you make space, pretty common, for new alignment, new energy, new purpose. And that's what's happened with myself and like with everyone is I look back and I look at where I am today, the things I wanted to go, things I wanted. And I think, yeah, well, if I did go in that direction with my career, then I wouldn't end up here. And if I did end up with her, then I wouldn't be here with her. So, you know what I mean? It's, you look back and you think, hey, I'm blessed. But at the same time, you could have thought, geez, I should have gone that direction, but which is the lesson. And that's where you really start, okay, I'm getting tested here. So because of all that, this whole journey is not holding on out of fear, but moving forward with awareness and your own truth. So really when I look at it, 5 key takeaways here that I really look at that are important. Discomfort is often the start of change. Because if you're comfy and you're used to the predictable and the familiar, how are you going to evolve? You've got to have discomfort, right? When something doesn't feel right anymore, don't brush it off. It's usually a sign that something in your life needs a shift. The situation, your approach, or the way you see it. Number 2, it's not the decision that's the issue. Yeah, it took me a little bit to get that one and drilled into my head, but it's what we avoid learning from it. Sometimes the outcome is out of our control, and of course, we hope the choice we make turns out right. But when you take time to reflect and you understand yourself better for the decision we made at the time, then that's how you build experience and wisdom for the next choice in that time. Because each decision comes from who you are in that moment. Back then you made a decision, you thought, God, I wish I'd never made that decision, but it was right at that time. So fast forward 2, 3, or 5, 10 years later, would you make the same decision based on what you knew? Maybe not, maybe. But if it wasn't presented back then, how would you make that decision today? So we've evolved. And that's how I look at it, is as you evolve, your awareness matures too. Every choice, right or wrong, becomes part of the process. And number 3, not everything ending means you lost something. No. Because sometimes things finish because they serve their purpose, as I was saying before. They've done its job, it's the end of the chapter. And it's just like moving you forward, saying, all right, it's time to keep moving you forward. Something part of your evolution is meant to be go in that direction instead of this direction. Number 4, use both your heart and your head. I've done it before, millions of times, of course. Well, like most of us, if not all of us, where you've made a choice on your heart or your logic, and trial and error. Trial and error experience gives you wisdom, of course, but I think that's a big one where what I do now is I feel it out. Let me feel it out first. I'll get back to you. And then I'll think it through. When both are working together, your decisions have more, of course, balance, reasoning, intuition, heartfelt, and you've got some integrity. And number 5, just keep moving forward without rushing. You don't have to have it all figured out today or tonight. You just have to keep moving, keep showing up. Stay consistent, be the true you in that space you're in today, how you are today, and trust the flow. That clarity comes through action. And if you're progressing through action, hey, that's all you can do is keep showing up, walking tall, moving forward with gratitude and grace, staying true to yourself, your values, and you can't go wrong. and you'll take all comers then, because you are building your own blueprint of not just being able to see it for what it is, but your resilience, knowing how to navigate onto the next test, whatever that may be. And I feel that's building your own power. You know, so when I say power, I don't mean physical. I'm talking about your craft for your knowledge and to move forward in life, personally, professionally, and then also your heart. You got to look after your heart, and when you have that balance, you'll flow with life then. Yeah, with non-resistance and non-attachment. Because hey, I've been here before. It's another test. What do you got for me today? And if it's a good day, then hey, lots of gratitude, because today was easy breezy day and feeling good. It's not like that every day, as we know. So one day at a time. Hope you got some value out of this, and we'll see you on the next one.